I turned 36 the night everything changed. But the unraveling had started much earlier, in moments so small. They could have been ignored. I could have chalked it up to work stress, or the normal fading excitement of marriage, but I didn't because deep down, something in the air had shifted, and it had a scent. The first time I noticed, it was a Thursday. Rhea came home from yoga, cheeks flushed and hair slightly damp, like she wanted to look like she'd been working out. But hadn't. She kissed me on the cheek, dropped her gym bag by the stairs, and headed to the kitchen without a word. I followed her. That's when it hit me, the scent, sea salt and citrus. Not the earthy, lavender meat sweat smell of a yoga studio, and definitely not her usual patchouli. Oil. No. This was something distinctly masculine, sharp, clean, with just a hint of spice. I knew that scent. I'd smelled it before. On long drives down the coast, on weekends when we'd all escaped the city, poker nights, bachelor parties, even that one beach weekend we took after college, back when loyalty meant something. It was Troy's cologne. Troy. My best friend for 12 years. I didn't say anything that night. I just walked up behind her, wrapped my arms around her waist, and kissed her neck. She stiffened just slightly, then leaned into me. Like everything was fine. I told her dinner would be ready at 10. She hummed something non-committal. But my chest felt tight. I knew. The next morning, I woke up before her and stared at the ceiling for nearly an hour. We'd been married for 8 years. Rhea was the kind of woman who made strangers turn twice. Not because she was flashy, but because she had presence. She walked into a room like it owed her something. And usually it paid up. In me, I was steady. I built things, legal frameworks, business deals. Our life, I made stability look easy, but something was off now. Conversations were shorter. She laughed at her phone a little too often and turned the screen away. She canceled dinner plans more frequently. Malia had a crisis, she'd say, or Joel's going through a breakup again. But the stories were getting recycled, and her eyes? They didn't linger on me like they used to. They flickered, darted like I was a mirror reflecting something she didn't want to see. Still, I said nothing. I observed, collected, logged. I became a quiet student of her distance. The night she came home too late. The day she left too early. The way her perfume changed. The way she always wore the same black leggings on Thursdays, but came home smelling like a man who never stepped foot in a yoga class. And then there was Troy. He still texted me like everything was cool. Memes, sports, clips, random, yo, you see this? Messages. He invited me out for drinks once or twice, but I declined, not because I was busy. But because I couldn't stomach sitting across from him, watching his mouth lie while his cologne told the truth. I replayed a conversation in my head, one from months ago. We were at a rooftop bar. The three of us. Rhea had gone inside to grab a blanket. Drew, my younger brother, leaned in close and said, "Man, Troy and Rhea really click, don't they?" He laughed, took a sip of his drink, and shrugged, like it was nothing. At the time, I laughed too. But that moment stayed with me, like a splinter just beneath the skin. I started driving different routes home from work, parking a few blocks away and walking in, just to see if I caught anything I wasn't meant to. Once I spotted Troy's Audi pulling out of our street at 8:43 p.m. on a Tuesday. Rhea texted 10 minutes later. Running late, had to stop at the store. No groceries came through the door that night, just her. And that cologne again. I tried to confront it once. Subtly. I asked how yoga was. She replied too quickly. Sweaty. My core is killing me. But there was no sweat on her skin. Just bronzer. Perfectly blended. Her clothes were too crisp. Didn't smell like eucalyptus in there. I said casually. She smiled. Slow, lazy, like I was amusing. You're so observant, babe. Then she kissed me on the forehead and disappeared upstairs. That night, I lay in bed beside her. Eyes open in the dark, she fell asleep quickly. I listened to her breathing shift into that slow rhythm that only comes with deep rest. And then, like a gift wrapped in cruelty. She spoke. Not to me, but to him. Double quo. Troy. She whispered. Just his name. Once. Then again. Softer. My chest felt like it was caving in. I closed my eyes, turned my face to the wall, and smiled. not because I was okay. But because something clicked. This wasn't suspicion anymore, this was confirmation. The photographer wasn't just taking pictures. He was recording full HD, crisp audio. Disguised body cams, they'd all blend in perfectly just like I needed. One of the waiters, the one closest to me throughout the night, would be Noel himself. He shaved his beard, wore glasses, and practiced his tray-carrying posture in front of a mirror. I made a separate guest list. Not everyone I loved. No. That would have made it too personal. This wasn't about surrounding myself with support. This was about inviting every last person who helped build the lie. The enablers, the mockers, the quiet observers who said nothing while my life was being rewritten without my consent. Joelle, her sister, with the smirking eyes. Malia with her gospel of modern marriage and quiet condescension. Troy, the man who once called me brother and now whispered my wife's name in hotels I paid for. Even Drew, my own blood, who made that offhand comment months ago. Troy and Rhea really click, don't they? With that smug tone, I didn't clock until it was too late. They were all going to be there, smiling, toasting, thinking they'd pulled off the perfect heist. I chose the wine carefully. I knew their favorites. I made sure there would be plenty of champagne. People let their guards down when they drink, and I wanted them completely at ease. The menu was hand-selected, with Rhea's favorite risotto and Troy's beloved duck confit. The cake? Chocolate hazelnut mousse, expensive, rich, celebratory, because this wasn't just a dinner. It was the stage for the last performance they'd ever give. The day before the dinner, Rhea asked if I wanted a suit steamed. Already taken care of? I said I'd chosen a deep navy suit, custom-tailored. Not because I wanted to impress her, but because I wanted to look like power incarnate. When the floor dropped out from under them, I didn't flinch when she kissed my cheek and said, "You're going to love this night, Marcus. It's all for you." She had no idea how right she was. That morning, I went over the plan with Noel one last time. Timing. Signals. Folder. Placement. The servers would hand out envelopes at precisely the moment I tapped my glass twice. The photographer would cue the projector just before that, claiming to play a slideshow of birthday photos, but instead of childhood memories or travel pictures, it would be something far less innocent. Audio, surveillance, stills, receipts. Truth. Printed 4 copies of the core dossier, sealed them in thick cream envelopes, each one labeled in sharp serif font, "To whom it may concern." Inside each envelope was a tailored version of the evidence, Rhea's included, the couple's massage booking, the boutique lease forgery, and the spa recording Troy's featured, time-stamped, photos, voice recognition printouts, and a copy of the